I grew up in a really small town in Ohio that was predominantly, almost exclusively white. And so I did not have a lot of experiences with diversity in terms of racial and ethnic diversity. The big divide in our town was around having a Catholic high school and then we were a small town, so a public high school. So Protestant and Catholic issues were probably the predominant thing that I learned about as a teenager or throughout my life growing up. So when I came out as a lesbian in college, and this is the early 1990s, it was really profound to think about what do I do going back to my family and what does that mean for understanding myself as a minoritized person? Because even though I'm a woman, I hadn't really thought about identities in that way before. I'd never had classes that had a language around that. And I had a lot of privileged identities where I could skate through the world and not think about it. So coming out was really, for me, an eye opener to be on the minoritized end of things and to think about, okay, now that's in opposition to what does it mean to be heterosexual and the privilege that comes with that. And from that, it really started making me think about my whiteness from that privileged identity that I was now seeing in contrast because of coming out. I had this contrasting viewpoint to see privilege and oppression. And then I switched it and was able to see privilege and oppression from my privilege lens too. So I think throughout the 90s, as I was exploring that and I was in student affairs at the time. After college, I went into student affairs work, doing what we called at that time multicultural work. It allowed me the space to really open up and explore that. And then I went for a PhD, and being in Arizona, at Arizona State University doing that, it really shaped a different way of looking at racial context. Because I'd grown up in Ohio, I'd spent the first part of my career in the Southeast of the United States. Definitely, if I'm thinking about racial context, it was a black-white binary, and that's all I
Mhm.
knew. And then moving to the Southwest, it was like the black-white binary doesn't exist in the same way as it does east of the Mississippi, for example. And they say that psychologists sometimes will study the very thing that are trying to work out amongst in them.
Ah, I see.
Not a psychologist, but I was in education, and so my dissertation is really trying to work out understanding, and my dissertation was white faculty teaching multicultural courses, identity and implications. And by viewing this from a researcher lens, I was also doing a lot of reflexivity. What does this mean? Can this be part of my life? Um, is it right for white people to do that kind of work in front of others as a faculty member in the classroom? I would say at the same time in my PhD program, I also found intergroup dialogue. I was mentored by a tremendous person, Dr. Jesus Trevino, who
Mhm.
introduced me to intergroup dialogue. He introduced me to the Michigan model of intergroup dialogue, even though we were in Arizona. It changed my life because telling those stories was so powerful. It's in many ways, it's how I learned by listening to others. It helped me develop skills to do that in a way that was really genuine and authentic and in an inquiry way, as opposed to tell me more, demanding kind of
Yeah.
way. It was
Yeah.
more like, you know, let's mutually share with one another and build an understanding from that. So those are some of the pivotal early moments in my professional career that certainly also were part of me personally, is how I grew to understand many of my both privileged and minoritized identities.